Good morning, beloveds. Okay, I don't know what I was about to say. Went to the gym this morning, so he's back in school now, so we're back to doing the gym on Sundays. And I came home hungry, so I was like, that's part of the reason why I'm running so late. I had to eat something. I had to eat something before I could do this. All right. We are on page 439 from the teaching of Jesus. We are going to start on the section that says new cloth and old garments from Matthew 9:16 and 17. In the saying that no person puts a piece of new cloth on an old garment or new wine in old bottles. Jesus was teaching a lesson in religious development. We are continuously living a new life, and when the old and the new do not fit nicely together, the old, being no longer able to contain the new, should be discarded. Continually, we must expect new revelations of old truths. We should never lose sight of the fact that the soul is on the pathway of an endless and ever-expanding experience, and that only by expansion can it evolve. This does not mean that we should cast away any good the old has to offer, but that we convert it into a greater good. Accepting the lessons and experiences of the past and taking the best from everything, we should press boldly forward, looking ever for the truth and ever ascending higher and higher into the heavens of reality. There is no limit to the possibility inherent in all people. Let the timid soul put its complete trust in good and press on bravely. Okay. It's kind of like separating the wheat from the chaff. You know, when you're growing wheat, you don't want to eat the chaff. So you got to separate the wheat. And Jesus did say, I come to fulfill the laws, not to break them. So he's like, let me give you a new interpretation of the laws. And that's one of the strengths that I think that both Judaism and Islam both have, that Christianity to a degree is lacking, is that both those religions have a council of elders who get together and they look at the laws and they look at the teachings and they say, okay, how do we apply them to the world now? Whereas Christianity kind of froze the world 2,000 years ago and said, nope, there's nothing new under the sun. And I'm like, oh, the world has changed. You know, like people fly now. We didn't do that 2,000 years ago. So, you know, there's got to be some give, and that's one of the things where, a lot of the New Thought said, look, there's a lot of good stuff in the old teachings, but we have to apply it to the world we live in now, not the world that they lived in 2,000 years ago. You know, 2,000 years ago, pork wasn't safe to eat in the desert. We have refrigeration now. So, okay. Or shellfish. Maybe I should say shellfish would be a better example. Because the Muslims do still have an issue with pork, but that's a different issue. Okay. Thy faith hath made thee whole. That's Matthew 9:20 and 21. And behold, a woman which was diseased with an issue of blood 12 years came behind him and touched the hem of his garment. For she said within herself, if I may but touch his garment, I shall be whole. It is said that Jesus was aware of her presence and turned to her with the words, thy faith has made thee whole. This is the lesson in impersonal healing, showing that the spiritually minded are surrounded by an atmosphere of reality, the very presence of which heals. Again, we find Jesus emphasizing the teaching that it is done unto us as we believe. and the woman was made whole from that hour. In healing the blind men, Jesus asked them if they believed that he was able to restore their vision. And upon their acceptance of his ability to do so, he said, according to your faith, be it unto you. Again, he was showing the necessity of faith and belief as supreme requisites in the demonstration of spiritual power. I mean, that kind of goes without saying. If you don't believe it's going to work, then it works by not working. And if you do believe it works, then it works by working. We don't say how it has to happen. We just say this is what we want to happen. And that's an important point. It's a very important point to remember, we leave it open to Spirit as to how. We just tell Spirit what. And then we have to believe that we have it now. We have to believe that it already exists in the mind of God and it's on its way to us. All right. Whew. Let's see. The law of circulation. This is Matthew 10:8. We're just going to work our way through the book of Matthew, apparently. Freely ye have received, freely give. When the law of circulation is retarded, stagnation results. It is only as we allow the divine current to flow through us on and out that we really express life. The law of giving and receiving is definite. Emerson tells us to beware of holding too much good in our hands. Because of the unity underlying all life, no person lives entirely unto themselves, but through themselves they live unto the whole, which whole embodies all other lives. Therefore, they that findeth their life shall lose it, and they that loseth their life shall find it. I don't like that quote because it doesn't make sense, but maybe he's about to explain it. When a person's thought rests entirely upon themselves, they become abnormal and unhappy. And when they give themselves with enthusiasm to any legitimate purpose, losing themselves in the thing which they are doing, they become normal and happy. Only as much life enters into us as we can conceive, and we conceive of life in the larger sense only when there is a complete abandonment to it. Let the one who is sad and depressed or unhappy find some altruistic purpose into which they may pour their whole being, and they will find a new inflow of life which they have never dreamed. And here's the thing, science backs that up. Science backs up if you are depressed, one of the ways that you can lighten that load is by going and serving somebody else, going and volunteering. There is all kinds of amazing research showing that when we go and volunteer and serve others, it lowers our cortisol, it raises our dopamine, it raises our serotonin. We literally change our chemistry and we feel better. Literally, like science backs that up. And so, it's one of those things and it is one of those things that makes me like absolutely crazy about the American mindset. And I'm watching the Olympics right now. And one of the things that I love about watching the Olympics is how competitors are constantly hugging each other. They're constantly hugging each other after the competition. Even when they don't know what the standings are, even they don't know who won, they don't know, they hug each other and they hug their coaches, and like there's just a lot of hugging going on. And because it's a community. It is a community, and that is what they're talking about in this is nobody is an island unto themselves. We cannot do this by ourselves. You want to go live in a cabin in the woods and not have contact with anybody, you're going to come back a little strange. The best example I can give you is the Unabomber. Ted, what was his name? He lived in a cabin in the woods. Are there people that are, yeah, but we rely on each other. And that is super important to remember, that we are social creatures. Our biology makes us social. We need each other. And when we work together and when we serve each other and when we are in community is when we are at our best. It's when we are on our own and trying to do it by ourselves that we're not. So, it's just that I'm all for rugged individualism, but I think you need to remember, as a rugged individual, that you belong to a community and that community needs you and depends on you, and you have an important role to play in that community. That is what they're teaching here in Matthew. It's like, look, you belong to the community belongs to you. That's where your strength lies. Go be with your community, go work with your community. Whew, all right, let's see if we can't get through a couple more, because a couple of these are short. Let's see. Whom shall we try to help? Okay, this is Matthew 10 and 13. But Jesus was wise in the ways of the world, as well as in heavenly wisdom, and he counseled his followers against attempting to help people when they wished no help. He said, and when ye come into a house, salute it, and if the house be worthy, let your peace come upon it. But if it be not worthy, let your peace return to you. This is a lesson which sincere students of truth often discover to their great chagrin. People do not always receive their message. And when this happens, there should be no controversy, no argument, and no sense of disturbance, but abiding in the conviction of the ultimate acceptance of truth by all, they should let their peace return unto themselves and go calmly on their way, undisturbed, unprejudiced, non-combative, but certain of themselves, certain of the truth upon which they stand. If, however, they are called upon to defend their faith, they should remember that the Spirit indwelling their lives will put into their mouths the very words which they should speak. And the great teacher said, for it is not ye that speak, but the Spirit of the Spirit which speaks in you. Matthew 10:20. Never forget that there is an indwelling Spirit which knows. All right. So science of mind is not a proselytizing religion. We do not go knock on doors. We do not go and try and convert people. One of my biggest beefs, and I have many beefs. I have many beefs with many versions of Christianity, is missionary work. Okay? It's not that I don't believe in missionary work. I do believe that we should go and we should build schools and we should build hospitals and we should help people. But I don't believe that that's the cost of them converting to our faith. Okay? I think that that's just wrong. If you want to go build a hospital, go build a hospital. And then if they're curious about your faith, then tell them about your faith. And that is exactly what he says. If you go knock on somebody's door and they're interested, then go talk to them. And if they're not, then leave them alone. And that's one of those things where, and it cracks me up to watch Christians try and convert each other. And I'm like, you're both Christian. You're both Christian. And yet you are so convinced that the other Christian is wrong that you have to argue with them. And it's like playing water polo. The harder you try and convince them, the more you push them away. And that's what Jesus says. Look, leave them alone. Leave them alone. Let them be as they are. The best way that we can do this is to be authentically who we are, to live our lives and let people be curious about what it is that makes us happy. And then they come to us. We don't have to go to them. So, Jesus right there is just saying, don't argue with people about your faith. don't argue with you about your faith, because it does nothing more than push them further and further away. Now, he does say that if somebody comes at you and is, then don't worry about it. Spirit will give you the words to defend what you believe, but if you go to somebody to talk to them about their faith and they don't want to talk about it, let them be. And that's when I read, when I was in ministerial school, I read a lot of things about how ministers are just, absolutely upset at how young people are turning their back on the church, and how they're walking away. And the number of people, the churches are just hemorrhaging believers. And it's like, well, because you didn't leave them alone. You told them they were bad. You told them they were wrong. You told them they were unredeemable. And they went, okay, fine. And walked away. And Jesus said, don't do that. Don't do that. So, okay. All right. There's 2 left on this page. So let's finish this page. This is a short one. Nothing can be hidden, from Luke 12:2. In the saying, there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, and hid that shall not be known. Jesus was referring to the mind that knows to the all-seeing eye, from which nothing is concealed. The cosmic ear hears everything. The eternal mind knows all things, and the law of cause and effect brings everything to pass in due time. Okay. All right, whatever. Every now and again, you're going to read one and you're going to go, why, Ernest, why did you put that in there? Other than he's arguing for the omnipresence of Spirit. Spirit is everywhere and knows everything. All right. But we're back to Matthew for this one. It's literally a man's foes, from Matthew 10:36. So we went to Luke for a minute, and now we're back to Matthew. All right. A person's foes shall be they of their own household. Oh, I know this one. There are no enemies external to our own mind. This is one of the most difficult problems to understand, and simple as it sounds, it penetrates the depth of creative causation. Nothing can happen to us unless it happens through us. That which we refuse to accept to us cannot be, and that which to us is cannot help becoming a reality in our lives. But someone will say, I did not conceive of the evil which came upon me. It was not in my mind. The question then arises, can any particular evil be real to one if they refuse to entertain it in their thought? The answer must forever be, it cannot. This is one of those hard sayings which it is difficult to understand, but the principle involved is plain. If we can divorce our lives from the thought of evil, from receptivity to it, if we could bring our mentality to a place where it no longer conceives evil, then evil cannot exist for us. The proof of this doctrine remains for individual conviction through experience, but it is well worth trying. All right. That one is a hard one. And I only have a bare proof for it. Simply from the standpoint that we do live in relationship, okay? We do live in relationship with other people. There are other people around us, and their choices do affect us, okay? But the way I can scratch the surface of this one, and that's all I can do. That is all I can do, because that is hardball metaphysics. So if I can scratch the surface of that, what I can say is that there are some women that I worked with, who were raised in fear. They were raised to look at any person who is different from them, mostly of the male gender, but any person who is different from them, be it religion, be it race, be it, whatever, they were raised to fear that person. Okay? They live a life of absolute fear. Like one of the young women, all she had to do was walk to the end of the street to get the mail and come back, or whatever it was. It's like, oh yeah, well, because our mailboxes are around the corner. And that's too scary for them to do, because there are all of these bad people out there just waiting for an opportunity to get them. They live in constant fear. I can't live my life like that. I cannot live my life like that. So that's where our worldviews are different. Okay. And do not get me wrong. I have had a couple of experiences where I have encountered some bad men. Okay. But I don't live my life expecting every man, especially if he looks different from me, to be out to hurt me. That's how I can scratch the surface of that, believe me. I do not live in that fear. It means that there are places there, like I will grab the mail key and go get the mail. It is what it is. Yes, I'm going to walk all the way around the corner of the building where nobody can see me, but nothing's going to happen to me because I'm not, and it doesn't stop me from doing things. Now, that being said, there are places that I know as a woman, it is not safe to go by myself. So, but as a general rule, so you have to balance it out. You have to balance out, but that's how I can scratch the surface of that. And still live my life as a woman. Like I said, all I can do is scratch the surface of that one. That one's so much deeper. But, all right. So, that's where we're going to leave it. We will pick up tomorrow on 442 with the reward of the visioning. So, yeah. All right. So I'm going to just do the housekeeping really quick. I'm going to remind you that an easy way to support the center is to engage with our social media. We are Creative Life Spiritual Center, Creative Life Spark on the social medias that we are on. Oh my God, I don't think I ever did that. Dang it. Okay. And so you can go and like, subscribe, follow, share, comment. All of that helps bump us in the algorithms, and we think that we have important stuff to share to help people live their best life, because that's our goal. We just want to make everybody's life better, as better as we can, or help them. We can't do it for you. we just want to be guideposts. It's like, here, try this. If you want more information about the center, you can, go to the website, creativelife.org, or you can email info@creativelife.org and get on the constant contact. And the constant contact, you get one a week. It's a real person doing it. And the hot links are hot. If it says click here now, it'll take you right to the information you want or to the person that can help you get it. Okay. That's a lot, right? I was about to encourage you to have a great day, a wondrous day, a fantastic day, a magical day, an enchanted day, a wonderful day, an awesome day, an amazing day, a Sunday, enjoy the rain we had last night and may get today. Get your week started off on the right foot. Come to the first Sunday hangout time. I'm just out of adjectives today. It's okay. Have a good day. And if that's too much pressure, simply have a day. You are enough just as you are. You are a beloved expression of the divine. You are spirit in motion, God in action, a brilliant light, a divine spark. I don't know. See, I'm all discombobulated. You're a beloved expression of the divine. You are a brilliant light, a divine spark. You're spirit in motion, God in action, or as Reverend Jesse likes to call us, a godling. All right. Explore the truth of your being. That's the whole point of all of this, is to explore the point of your being. Or explore your being. Get to know who the divine knows you to be. Because the divine knows you to be good. All right. And from there, anything is possible. All right, beloveds, I'm going to take my messiness and get ready to go to service, because there will be a service in about an hour. So take care of yourself. Know that there'll be a service in an hour, and then Reverend David will be on at 5, and I'll be back with you around 9 a.m. because we've got some work to do in part 5. Take care of yourself. Know that you are loved, and I will and I will see you next time.